I'm on my way to Neptune.
Program leads me to doubt not only your judgment, but others' character. See, we're just out from Mars now. Just on our way past Jupiter. Eventually on to Neptune. You have traded perhaps of the influence. I am free of your moral boundaries. I have total clarity. And I know for certain.
I'm on my way to Neptune. The zero G in the extended duration of the journey is affecting me, both physically and mentally. I'm alone. Something I always believed I preferred. But I confess, it's wearing on me. I'm alone. I've let so many people down.
The Curtis YC channel.
What's up, everyone? It's Curtis YZ, and I watched the movie Ad Astra. It's directed by James Gray. I've never seen any of his work that I'm aware of. Definitely want to see more of his stuff. Anyway, spoiler alert. This is going to be a spoiler review. Go watch this movie. I will keep it, for the most part, spoiler free, and I'll let you know when I get into spoiler territory. Ad Astra. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I give it like a 9.5 out of 10. Got a lot of hate, and that's why I wanted to review it. So we got these two pictures right here. You might remember, I definitely remembered hearing that his face looks like pasted on there, and I bet you anything this one didn't show his face enough, so they went to that one. Regardless of how crummy the picture, I actually kind of think it's okay. Besides, yeah, anyways, not to go over old stuff. This movie got a lot of hate, and I think I know why. People don't like watching slow burns. They don't want to get sucked in. They don't want to think about it. They like fun, action, easy plot, la-da-da-da-da, good versus bad type stuff. A lot of the times. I don't like to turn my brain off. I like to be engaged in the world. Otherwise, I don't feel like I'm leaving my world and entering a new one. I feel like I'm just watching some cartoon made for children. That's why I don't really like Marvel that much. I think Captain America 1 and 2 are awesome, but so much of them are just bleh. It's not like I don't like them. I'm just saying, like, they're just completely different movies, and I have to change the way I view movies almost. This, to me, is the way to make movies, in my opinion. Like, this style, if you will. Not entirely, but just hear me out. Take a movie like Quentin Tarantino, and it's better than most movies out there. You know, it's that feel, the realism that I love. And okay, so I'm just gonna compare this movie to other movies, so you get an idea. If you've seen some of these other movies, you might be interested. Blade Runner, very similar to Blade Runner in the sense of realism, and you feel like you're there. It feels real. If you've seen the movie Sunshine, great movie too. Very similar to Ad Astra. Takes place in space, obviously more revolves around the sun, but very cool movie in terms of realism and just a very long, drawn-out, tension-filled movie with bits of action in there to keep you engaged for sure. But it's the reality of it that really draws me into these movies. 2001: A Space Odyssey, very similar to that movie as well. Both Sunshine and Space Odyssey are the more similar, I would say. So it's really, really long and drawn out. Mostly revolves around Brad Pitt and Tommy Lee Jones's characters. And I think it has a solid theme. I think it has a solid message. And its execution of this film is intense, in my opinion. I was absolutely sucked in. Like, I was there. And I think that Brad Pitt's performance is astronomical. Okay? Yeah, pun intended, okay? So it was really good. Kind of a Ryan Gosling kind of character where he's just very stoic. But it really works for this because he's supposed to be pretty much like the most reserved person that you could possibly be. And he's very in control of his emotions. He's just very reserved and very calm and in control. And it just really works because he's an astronaut. You're supposed to be that. It's also actually really similar to Blade Runner 2049. If you remember their version of the Voight Comp test or whatever it was. You know, there was a machine who was asking Kay all the questions. He had to do a thing where, he's kind of getting self-evaluated for his mental state throughout the movie. So it very similar to all of those movies in many ways, but it stands apart from those movies in its own way. So I love all of those movies, and they all stand on their own, but they are very similar in concept when it comes to the realism and the slow burn feel of it. So if you don't like those, you might not like this movie. But if you're a fan of like incredible acting and tension and just realistic action, you're going to be enthralled by this. Spoiler alert. Now I'm getting into the spoilers, okay? So it feels like you're leaving Earth and you're going to that's what's cool, is like it doesn't just go straight to the spot or whatever. You really are with him till he goes to the moon, then he goes to, Mars, and then he goes like to Jupiter or whatever. He's like really traveling out there, and it takes a long time. And the movie deals with a lot of things. It deals with your mental stability while being alone, and isolation is a big one. The theme of the movie, and I'm just going to talk about the theme. It revolves around the sins of the father are passed on to the son. That is kind of the theme of this movie, and it's literally talked about in the movie. So I thought it was really well done, though. There was a lot that just kind of went right over my head, but thinking about it and watching a couple reviews, I was like, oh wow, yeah, I didn't even think about that. But there was other parts that I was putting the pieces together that I still got the idea and the message behind the movie. It has visuals worthy to be in the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. Moments lost, like tears in rain. I mean, not really. It has good moments like that, though. And it actually has horror, just like in the movie Sunshine. So that's why I think it's really similar to those, and I'm going to cut you up some clips. I'm going to show off some editing prowess, hopefully. And that's going to be my review. I really suggest this movie. It's one of my favorite movies already, just because of how realistic it was. I loved it. And I know there's some flaws with it, but considering the plot and everything, there weren't any flaws I knew about. I'm sure there were ones, but that, scientists will easily hate this movie for. But I'm telling you, if you're not a scientist, you're going to go in and watch this movie and be like, dang, I just feel like I felt like I was an astronaut for 2 or 3 hours or whatever, however long it is. It's a pretty long movie.
Trouble with pirates since September.
Look at it. The big blue marble.
Rover 7, confirming settings.
Bearing 290.
Alpha, we have what looks like unidentified rovers approaching our position. Possible pirate activity.
Alpha, we need backup ASAP. We're being ambushed.
LRV-2 down.
Roy,
I have a puncture.
Roy, you all right?
I'm okay.
Alpha, repeat. We need... Lieutenant!
We are not clear. I repeat, we are not clear. We have multiple enemy craft in pursuit.
Hi, Dad.